But Johnny, let's move on into our next topic, and this is honestly my favorite topic. My number one topic, interest-wise and popularity-wise for my own, coming into this podcast. The one I was most excited to talk about.
Yeah.
And this is because it doesn't have to deal with a set thing. It's not like we're talking about this and it's only this. Kind of a little bit more broader.
Yeah.
And what we are talking about here on the podcast, second off, is the question is, are you owed a game's ending because you bought it? And the reason why I asked this is there's a article on Polygon.com. Many other places have talked about this, but I've taken the one from Polygon where the head of their article is, when exclusion is a valid design choice, question mark. Mm-hmm. And it says the difference between what you earn and what you are owed. And the reason why we are asking this question is there are many people around the game of Cuphead.
Yes.
Which great. It looks like a beautiful game.
Looks fantastic.
I can't wait to play it. I cannot wait to play it. I have not had time to play it yet. It is one I definitely want to try to play because of the design and because it kind of reminds me of an old school game. With that being said, I'm going to ask you first because obviously I can't ask myself.
I mean, you could, but it'd be weird.
If you buy a game, you buy any game, are you owed that game's ending just because you bought it?
Let's put it this way. I mean, you can go two ways about that question, so I'm going to kind of use my answer to clarify.
Okay.
You are owed an ending. Like, don't give me, like, I finished the game and there's not an actual ending.
I'm gonna say this then.
Well, I'm clarifying it with my answer.
Okay.
Wait till I finish this part, and you can if it's not.
I apologize.
If it's not clear enough, then you can.
Okay.
So you are owed that ending unless the game specifically says, well, we're releasing a DLC yearly. There's never going to
So not a Destiny 1 situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, unless they say otherwise, you are owed an actual ending, especially if you're doing like a campaign mode.
And with this question, I just want to make it clear. We are talking about this is one game. This is for sure one game. No DLC, no Destiny 1 situation.
No, I agree. And that's what I'm trying to clarify with my second half of my answer.
Go ahead.
You are not owed that ending.
Okay.
If you make it there, that because you have to you
should earn it.
The ending needs to be in the game, but you are not owed getting to that ending
because you bought it.
Just because you bought it, you have to earn it. Any game, there's so many games I play. There's some games I stopped and they're paused from like a year, 2 years ago. I never
finished it.
I didn't finish because I got aggravated. That's on me, though. I don't blame the makers of the game.
Yeah.
They made it hard for a reason. They made it because they didn't make the levels impossible. If they did that, then they shouldn't have released the game. But that means all the games, there is a way to beat them. You have to figure it out. That is the point of a video game.
Well, and some people are saying that, you know what?
Well,
Cuphead,
not all video games, but
like Cuphead is extremely difficult. Even on its normal difficulty. And I think it's in the Polygon article I read this, where there is a setting in Cuphead.
Yeah.
Where they have regular, then they have a notch up for harder, but then they have a simple difficulty underneath regular.
Yeah.
However, if you play it on simpler or simple, they take 10% of the game away from you. So you don't experience 10% of the game, whether that's different boss fights where usually it's like, oh, I'm going to go down to the next difficulty. It's the same. Usually it's the same boss fight.
Yeah.
So like phase 1, phase 2, then phase 3. Well, in Cuphead, if you go down to simple, you're not going to get that same boss fight as regular. It's basically going to be, well, on regular, you get phase 1, 2, and 3. On simple, you just get 1 and 2. And they take a phase out of it. And basically, I haven't experienced it, so I don't know if at the ending it changes anything.
Yeah.
I like that. I like hey, you know what? We're going to give you this very simple difficulty so you can get through the game, but you're not going to get the full ending. You're not going to get the ending that the regular people get. And the reason why, and I get that there are going to be people out there that bash our answer right away. Because I'm on the same side of you. I'm on the side of, if you buy a game you're not owed that ending.
No, you have to
You
earn
have
it.
to get there. And for me, that is the fun of gaming. Mm-hmm. And I mean, maybe it's the kind of culture that we live in now, where we're in a very instant culture.
Yeah.
With Amazon, with it's basically I go online, I buy it, I get it.
Well, even
everything is instant.
Netflix, Hulu, instantly having it right on your screen.
I click on Stranger Things, it is on my
exactly.
It is basically on my computer.
Instead of having to go to Redbox and rent it.
Or going to, oh God forbid, going to a Blockbuster.
Wait, there's Blockbuster still?
Blockbuster video. Or going to a movie theater to actually watch a movie, because it kind of feels like we're headed on the trend of phasing out movie theaters altogether. But back to the gaming part, the best feeling I've ever had, and this isn't just gaming, this is ever had, was when I beat the original Sega Aladdin game. Best feeling I ever had, because I felt like at the end of it that I had reached some sense of accomplishment. I remember being so happy after beating that game. I was running through my house. And I get it. Like, okay, Ricky, you were like 5 or 6, maybe. Maybe. I think I was like 6 years old. But you look at it and you go, as a kid, you're like, yeah, you were a kid. Of course you were excited. No, I felt like I actually achieved something. And an interesting thing that is very different, and I don't know if Cuphead deals with this. It'd be interesting if they did. Like, I was talking to Dave last night, and Aladdin on the Sega, Turtles in Time on the NES. Mm-hmm. When you played anything on those games, you died. You would go all the way back to the beginning.
Oh,
You could be all the way through the game, die, run out of lives, because of course they have lives.
Yeah.
And have to start all the way from the beginning of the entire game.
Oh, I know 100% what you mean, because I'm not counting Duck Hunt. My first system ever was the original Nintendo.
The NES.
The only game I had for it...
I've never beaten a game on the NES.
The only game I had for it was Duck Hunt. I mean, technically you had Dr. Mario, but it didn't work.
Yeah, basically.
For some reason.
That was basically Tetris.
Yeah. But, so the only game I had was Duck Hunt. I don't count that one as beating it, because you just keep playing over and over, figuring out. And I mean, you eventually find out that if you go super far away from the screen, the whole screen blasts and you get the duck every time.
Yeah.
Don't count that game. First game I ever beat, and I remember it clear as day, was for the Game Boy, Donkey Kong.
Okay.
First game I ever beat. Road Trip. Just kept playing it. Even when like the sun went down, clicked that little light in that went over it. And I kept playing it. Finally beat the damn thing. Greatest feeling ever. And the thing is, I earned that win, because that was a hard as hell game to beat at my age. Because it's not like a lot of games we have today where it's like, oh, you just fight and get through it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Or the shooting, even Overwatch. It's just shooting. I mean, there's some stuff you have to, but there's not a ton of...
Overwatch is frustrating, though. Overwatch is
frustrating in a different way.
It's dealing with stupid-ass teammates that don't know what the F they're doing. That's
Agreed.
what Overwatch
We'll
is.
have another podcast about that some other day.
Yeah, we'll have to show them game footage for that of stupid teammates. But
exactly.
Go ahead.
I would, like I said earlier, I would pop in the light. I was playing, and I finally won on that road trip. And, I mean, I earned that win. That's the thing. It was hard when I was at that age. But the greatest thing was, because I earned that win, was... I figured it out. I figured out all the puzzles.
It was like a puzzle. Exactly.
Because you're playing as Mario, and you have to figure out, well, where to jump here, where to jump there.
Yeah.
When's the best time to grab that hammer?
I'm going to put it this way.
Yeah.
You guys can see this on the YouTube channel, but earlier this week I streamed Crash Bandicoot. And, I mean, first off, special thanks to Spock and Ninja Turtle, who were in the stream, chilling out with me while playing Crash Bandicoot. Or Bandicoot. I'm saying it wrong, by the way. Many years later, I keep saying Crash Bandicoot, and I don't know why. It's just Bandicoot.
I don't know why either.
I don't know why I'm saying Bandy. It's Bandicoot. I don't know why I'm pronouncing it like that. But even that, playing it so many years later, I was cruising. Then I got to a level. I'm like, I can't get this level. And I had to go back, do it. I remember that in gaming, too. This was after we had save cards now at this point.
Yeah.
But basically it was... I'm running my head into a wall with this level. I'm going to put it down, either go do something else, I'm going to put it down, play something else.
Yeah.
And then come back to it, and I was able to beat it.
Yeah, that's what some of my games are.
But, like, there were, like, back in the day, NES, Sega, Super NES, you had to, and Dave brought up a point, like, you had to beat it almost in one sitting.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dave even brought up the point when we were talking about it. He goes, well, don't you remember the classic of, oh, shit, I got to leave my system on while I go to school. I hope no one turns it off.
Exactly, or the power doesn't go out.
I hope no one turns it off, or else I'm done. And I have to start all over.
Yeah. No, I remember those days too. Or like even when the N64, if you did not have the memory card thing.
That's another one I brought up because I'm like, for like the N64 was just on the cusp.
It was like the back and forth.
You had the memory card for some games.
Yeah.
But also you had games like Banjo-Kazooie and Zelda, which the game cartridge you can save on the cartridge.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had a save file on the game itself.
The game itself had finally had room. That's where we were having like
but it was just bridging over into
exactly.
that.
So not all your games had it.
Mm-hmm. Some games required the memory card.
Yeah, well, it stuck at my house. I wasn't allowed to keep the game system on.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to save it.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't one of those types of games that's like, well, I have to restart.
Yeah.
Great.
So Johnny's like, great, I never beat those games.
Yeah. I never beat them unless I beat them in that one sitting. Because I was not allowed to keep the system on for reasons my parents didn't want it to overheat.
But like after that, it's like PlayStation memory cards.
Exactly.
PlayStation 2 memory cards. PlayStation 3, it's all on the system. You're saving on the system. Didn't need a memory card. PlayStation 4, it's all on the system. You don't need a memory card. Same thing with the Xbox.
Where 360
the first Xbox had memory cards.
Yeah.
Then after that, none of them had memory cards, I believe. Unless the 360 does.
360 had, depending on which system you bought. Mine, for example, had an expandable, like I can actually take the old thing off and it's like this long, but it's like it's all your memories in there, and you just click it back in and it's a new one.
Okay.
So I have
so it's like a memory stick.
Sort of, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's where that's where all the memories hidden.
Where all they lie, all the memories.
And then the Xbox One obviously is internal.
Yeah, and I mean nowadays maybe that's the different part. Maybe it's because we grew up, people older than us. So we're 27.
Yeah.
People older than us, I think, will have the same thought process as us, maybe even a little different. Like if you're old enough and you grew up with the NES as your main system, or even the Atari.
Yeah.
Like if you grew up back then, you might have a similar thought of, you know what, I didn't have these fancy memory cards. I had to beat it in one sitting. Nowadays, everything is savable.
Exactly.
But I mean, back to the original question, I feel like it is not the game designer's goal to give you a game that you should be able to beat should be able to beat all the way through. Obviously, you don't want to make it so impossible, but it's their job to give you a game that is both a good mix of both fun and challenging.
Exactly.
If they can do both, they've done their job. Nowadays, there's a third aspect into that. Story.
Yeah.
It's got to give you a fun, challenging game with a good story. Because the thing is, with games now, we've moved into we are in the next kind of mode of everything. It's basically like a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Until Dawn, the horror game, which I would love to play someday because I never actually played it. I've just watched people play it. That's a great game. I love it because that's one to where it's like it looks like a movie and you're making choices.
Exactly. Those
you're
are
making
fun.
choices. That one's a little different though. But like in a game like Cuphead, where it might not be, it's a side scroller, there's a story, but it's not like that cinematic story. I don't think it's the game developers. They're not obligated to make sure you can get through the entire game.
Yeah.
It's their obligation to give you a challenging game to where, okay, you're going to have to work for it. But then when you get through it, when you work through it, practice, get through it, greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Greatest feeling. Think about the Mega Mans. You ever play Mega Man growing up?
Not a lot, but
infuriating. That's what I'll tell you, Johnny. Infuriating. I've never beaten a Mega Man game. Well, scratch that. Mega Man X I think I beat, but like the old Mega Mans on like the NESs, Never beat them because you had to go through every single. There were like 8 bosses you had to go through, and it was like different worlds. Never beat it as a kid. Never. Mainly because the NES to me was like the tail end of NES, and I was right into Sega, and I was a Sega homeboy. Sega NES, I was a Sega. Then the Super Nintendo, that's when I was on Nintendo. Then obviously when it became PlayStation versus Xbox, I had a PlayStation, I had an Xbox, and then I chose the right route of PlayStation.
I mean,
and that's where I landed.
The right route is more like a dark side, light side conversation.
To me, it's the right side. It's the only side.
It's the right side for Ricky.
In my mind, it's the only side. But anything...
That's a complete lie.
Anything that you want to bring up with this that you think we missed in this discussion of Cuphead and game difficulty and if you're owed the ending?
Not really. I mean, the only thing I'm going to add to it is like, yeah, here's the other side of it. Not all games require like the figuring stuff out, the puzzle part of it. The puzzle solving aspect of it. Kind of like I brought up earlier, Overwatch. That's
or like any sports game.
Any sports game, even Mortal Kombat's a great example too. There's not really a lot of problem solving. You fight, you shoot. There's not a ton of problem solving to be done.
Overwatch is basically a skill set of I'm going to practice with this character and get really good. But if I'm not good at this character, I'm not going to do good in the game.
I mean, there's a little bit of puzzle solving, whereas how can I match with my combos? Great example. The newest one, Doomfist. You have to. I know you, and I suck with Doomfist. I'll admit it.
I love.
I
Doomfist.
suck. I've tried a few times.
Love
not a lot.
Love them.
But you need to basically figure out the pattern of how you need to hit everyone, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to learn how to the uppercut, the slam down, the punch in the wall. You just
how to time them, how to use them.
It's got to work, and it's harmonious. You just
exactly.
It's a feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on down, Johnny. It's bobsled time.
I was gonna say it's Doomfist time.
No,
right?
It's Doomfist time.
Yeah, see, it works. It fits.
But you gotta feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme with Doomfist. That's what I always say.
Yeah, no, see, I'm a diva. I'm basically a tank. I've so far been hitting a lot of diva, Orisa, and now Reinhardt.
Yeah.
So I've been tanking a lot.
Yeah. Whereas I'm on the other side where Farah is basically my bottom bitch, and that's how I play. Let's put it this way. I told Dave this, and I know this is off topic, but I'll say it anyways.
Yeah.
So since the summer event, hadn't played Overwatch.
Okay.
Picked it up this week, played Farah. Like nothing happened.
Yeah, like riding a bike.
Like nothing like I didn't miss any time. 61, 62 weapon accuracy percentile. Led the team with 24 kills, gold medal there, gold medal damage, gold medal objective kills. We won.
Yeah.
Went 9-1 in my placements.
Nice.
9-1, basically, because I'm a boss. But I'm on the side of the game developer does not owe you the ending. You are too.
Earn it.
I want to know what you guys think. Let us know down below. What do you think? Should we, when we buy a video game, should we be owed the ending, or should you be able to work at it, earn it, get through it? Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section.